welcome to another edition of Thursday Evening Breathing Buddies. Right, we are going to start with the nasal congestion clearing exercise. So for this we're into two groups. We've got Group A, people in good health or relatively good health. Group B, people in not quite so good health. You kind of just be honest with yourself here, but especially if you've got anything like heart disease, if you've had recent surgery, diabetes, if you're pregnant or think you could be pregnant, any mental health issues such as schizophrenia or panic disorder, Group B. Right, here we go. What we need to do for this, the instruction is, well, I'll explain it first, then we'll have a go. You're going to breathe in through your nose, then out through your nose. Then you're going to pinch your nose. I'll just cover your nostrils rather than actually squeeze them. Cover your nostrils, hold your breath, and nod your head. That's the idea. If you're in Group A, you do this for as long as you can. You're going to push through into this feeling of air hunger until you know it's getting quite strong, sort of a medium level of air hunger. And then once you're finished, you breathe in through your nose, and you should feel much less congested if you're feeling congested at all now. If you're Group B, wait until the first inkling that you want to take a breath, and then maybe nod your head a couple more times, and then stop and breathe through your nose. So when you're ready, breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. Cover your nose, pitch your nose, hold your breath, nod your head. If nodding your head feels awkward at all, you can move side to side. Just get some movement into your upper body. Group A, you go for as long as you can. Group B, couple of nods after that first point when you feel like you want to take a breath. And breathe in through your nose afterwards. Now, hopefully, when you do take the inhalation, you feel a little bit of relief if you were feeling congested. We'll do another round in a minute, but what we need to do is just let things settle for a moment. What's happening there, the air hunger, what that is carbon dioxide building up in your blood. When carbon dioxide hits a particular point, it's unique to each of us, and it depends on various aspects of our health on any given day. We're triggered to want to take another breath, and then you can push beyond that, and that's when you're into the air hunger. So that's the feeling of carbon dioxide accumulating in your blood. So now what we need to do is just breathe a few times to let things get down to whatever normal is for you. Otherwise, next time when we try and do it, if we don't do it too soon, you won't be able to hold your breath for as long because you're already starting from a point of elevated carbon dioxide in your blood. So let's have another go now. When you're ready, breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. Pitch your nose, hold your breath and nod your head. Group B, stopping a couple of nods after that first feeling that you want to breathe. Group A, keep going. And when you're ready, breathing through your nose. If you're someone who suffers from congestion regularly, this can be a real kind of game changer. So keep practicing it. The more you practice it, the better it gets, the better the results are, and the longer they last. This is as you improve your tolerance to carbon dioxide. Right, let's get into the practice. So we're going to start by just having a nice check-in. Sit up straight, one hand on your chest, the other on your belly, just above your navel. If you feel comfortable doing so, maybe close your eyes. Don't change anything about how you're breathing right now. Just like to kind of check in with how you're feeling, very generally. After whatever today has thrown at you, how's that left you feeling? Is there a feeling tone that you could ascribe to it? Something that after the session you could perhaps compare and see if you feel any different. You're holding any tension anywhere? How are your shoulders feeling? Can you loosen them up a little bit, roll them back and down? What about your jaw? tend to hold tension in the jaw. Maybe you just need to give it a bit of a wiggle. And then have a think about how your breathing feels right now. You're breathing slowly, quickly. Your breath's full, rather shallow. Not changing everything right now, just noticing how it is. Which hand is moving, or are both hands moving? Is one moving more than the other? So now that you're becoming aware of your breath and your bodily state right now, I'm going to practice an exercise called Breathe Light. Now you can leave your hands here if you like that kind of biofeedback, or you can just rest them in your lap, on your thighs, whatever feels comfortable. So without changing how you're breathing, what I'd like you to try to do, simple instruction, is to try to breathe a little bit less air. If you were breathing to 100% capacity, not literally, but if you imagine that your inhalations were 100%, maybe try and reduce that to 70%. It's quite a simple instruction. It can be quite hard to achieve the goal, and the goal is to generate a little bit of air hunger. That feeling you pushed into in the first exercise, what we want to do is get right to the edge of that, just where it gets a tiny bit uncomfortable, and then just stay there. See if you can make your breathing really light, really quiet. If I was with you now, I'd say try and hide your breathing from me. That's in terms of both volume and movement. Now, as we approach the feeling of air hunger, there is the chance that you can slip a little bit too far into it. You start to feel too uncomfortable, and you'll notice then the breathing will become erratic, or you'll start to feel maybe a little bit tiny at the edge of panic. If that starts to happen, just take some deeper breaths, some fuller breaths, and step back for 20 seconds or so, and then join in again. Now, when we breathe light, when we breathe a little bit less air, we're allowing carbon dioxide to accumulate in the blood to concentrations higher than usual. Carbon dioxide is a byproduct of respiration, but it performs many important functions in the body. One of which is that it's a vasodilator. It opens up the blood vessels, improves blood flow around the body to tissues, muscles, to the brain. If you suffer from poor circulation, as you practice this, you might even notice your hands start to get a little bit warmer. the blood flow improves. Carbon dioxide is also the catalyst that allows or enables hemoglobin to release oxygen. So when we practice breathe light, when we allow carbon dioxide levels to increase just a little bit, we improve blood flow around the body and we improve oxygen delivery around the body. And this, with a little bit of practice, can have a very calming effect on the nervous system, on the mind. Now, if you've been doing this for a few weeks now, the thing to think about is, can you reduce any tension in your body? Can you make this a very relaxed process as you gradually breathe less and less air? Maybe you want to concentrate on your nose. Can you get to the point where even the fine hairs in your nose stop moving? Just a reminder, if you start to feel like your breathing's getting erratic, take a step back, take some fuller breaths, and approach again. If you're not sure if you're feeling the air hunger, or you're struggling to get there, don't change anything about your breathing, but perhaps take a thumb, cover one nostril. This can be a fast route to the feeling we're looking for. I'll actually use the analogy of surfing for this exercise. We want to ride the wave of air hunger. We're not getting any benefit if we sit behind the wave and let it wash under us. But we also don't want to get wiped out by the wave. That's where the breathing becomes erratic. We start to feel uncomfortable. You want to be comfortably uncomfortable. And if you're feeling now like you would like to be breathing a tiny bit more air, then that's great feedback. That means you're doing the exercise correctly. When we play with air hunger, we're playing around with the very, very edge of one of our primal fears, which is a lack of air. That's why we don't go too far into it. It does serve the function of focusing the mind, clearing out the mental clutter. You are ever unfortunate enough to find yourself experiencing any of our primal fears, you won't be able to think about anything else. So if we can just play around with the edge of this one, it's a way of keeping the mind on track. Okay, we're going to switch to another exercise. So, relax your breathing. Breathe however feels good for you right now. We're going to practice an exercise now called Breathe Deep. If you've not done this before, or just if you want the experience again, put your hands on your lower two ribs with your fingers wrapping around the back and your thumbs to the front, kind of pointing down. What I'd like to do now is to take fuller breaths, but fewer of them. So you're going to breathe deep into the lower reaches of your lungs. You want to feel an expansion into your abdomen. The reason we put our hands on our ribs is to feel that on each inhalation, as well as the belly dropping out, dropping forwards as you're probably used to feeling, we should also feel push of the ribs, the lower ribs expanding into the hands, that lateral movement. And on each exhalation, contraction inwards. And then if you put a little bit of pressure with your fingers at the back, you may even notice that there's movement into the back body as well. It's more subtle, but there's movement there as well. Functional breathing is a 360-degree motion around the body. If your arms are getting tired, you can rest them back on your lap now. Now you know what we're doing. Keep breathing low and deep into the abdomen. There should be no movement now into the upper chest. All the prime real estate for gas exchange is deep within the lungs. Breathing into the upper chest is just a reserve, when it's the last gasp. It's for when we're exercising hard. We want to be aiming to engage the diaphragm and recruit the diaphragm correctly so that we're breathing low into the abdomen. If you suffer from lower back pain, it can be a sign that you're not recruiting the abdomen, recruiting the diaphragm correctly. It can be worth practicing this sort of breathing exercise. If you get lower back pain and neck pain, it can be a sign that you're breathing a little bit too much into the upper chest, recruiting secondary muscles for respiration in your neck and shoulders. If you do that chronically, it can lead to neck ache. Breathing deep and slow into the abdomen. Now when we breathe deep and slow, we also create vagal tone, vagus nerve. Stimulate to tell the body, to tell the brain, so to send biofeedback from the body to the brain that the body is in a safe resting state. The brain can then tell other systems in the body to get on track with that. It makes sense. Breathing slowly and deeply, we just kind of associate with being relaxed. Breathing shallow, breathing into the upper chest, usually a sign that we're stressed or perhaps ill. The speed at which we breathe can also have a positive effect on how relaxed we feel. So we're going to do some cadence breathing now. In other words, I'm going to count. You can follow along. We're going to do 2 different patterns. Do 4, 7, 8 breathing. So I'm going to count in for 4, then we hold for 7, exhale for 8. We'll do a few rounds of that. It can be slightly more stimulating. We're then going to move to in for 4, out for 6, and a little pause at the end for 2. I'll guide us through that though. So we need to get into sync for this. So when you're ready, exhale, then breathe in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, I've got this wrong. Let's start again. We don't normally do 4, 7, 8. When you're ready, exhale, then breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last one. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2. We're going to out for 6, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Little pause at the end. 6. Pause. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause. Breathe in. I'm going to drop the counting. Out. And in. Now carry on at your own rate. The idea here, simply to make your exhalation longer than your inhalation. And then have a little pause at the end, or a longer pause. The higher your personal tolerance is to carbon dioxide, the longer you can naturally pause at the end before you feel like you need to take another breath. And this shape, the slightly shorter inhalation compared to a longer exhalation with a pause, this shape is the shape of a breath for someone who's breathing functionally and breathing well and is healthy and has a good relationship with the carbon dioxide in their body. It's what we want to be aiming for when we're at rest. It's something to aspire towards. And you'll know if you practice these hypercapnic, these high carbon dioxide exercises regularly, and you start to notice the pause at the end, if it gets longer, it's a sign that your body is adapting to higher concentrations of carbon dioxide. So what does that mean? That means that pause is longer. You're not getting breathless quite so soon. You're not being triggered to take another breath. If you can reduce or delay the onset of breathlessness, then you'll naturally breathe more slowly. As I said before, we associate breathing slowly with being relaxed, with being healthy. Now, if you want to add something else into another mixer to our cocktail, if you want to, carry on like this, or you could try and breathe light now as well. can you switch so that you're not moving the diaphragm so much? You're still breathing slowly, still extending the exhalation, but you're breathing a little less air with each round. So you create a bit of air hunger. So again, this is being very still. It's a very still breath. At the same time, very relaxed. I should point out this is an exercise. And we're just breathing slowly and deeply. That's something to aspire to. That's a healthy way to breathe at rest. If we also add the air hunger in, this is an exercise. Okay, we'll do this for another 30 seconds or so. Now, if you've slowed your breathing right down, that might just be one round of inhalation and exhalation. Okay, when you're ready, deepen your breath a little bit if you were practicing the air hunger. Drop the exercise and just breathe however feels natural to you right now. Thank you all for coming along.